Just in case you're wondering why this Gundam is named after Mercury and not Neptune, let me enlighten you guys. Now, the Japanese name for Mercury is Suisei, which has the character for water in it. Thus, the creators decided to name this Gundam after Mercury since it is an underwater combat mobile suit. You're very welcome. Also, disclaimer, core Gundam not included. What is going on, guys? MJ2005 Gundam here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the high-grade Mercuone unit and Mercuone weapons from Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise. Now, after a 1.5 month wait, we finally got everything that we need to complete the Mercury armor, and I do have to say, the silhouette does look pretty good. It's gonna probably rival the Jupiter armor for my favorite armor form, because this thing does have a lot of spikes and I really do like that. All in all, this thing does look pretty good. Now, there are two issues with it, one minor and one major. The minor issue is that the water needle guns over here, the needles, they do not have any white details, so you will have to paint that in. Thankfully, a sticker is not introduced, because if it is going to be sticking over a round surface, so the sticker will just peel off. But the one major issue is the blue is inaccurate. Now, here is a photo of me getting the best lighting possible, because I had to artificially brighten this video up, so it may not be accurate. So I have taken a separate photo just to compare the blue of the Mercuone Gundam to the anime. Now, February seems to be the month of color inaccurate kits, isn't it? But anyways, this thing is just the Mercury armor. Nothing really too special, nothing really too glamour about. Although, yeah, this is a little bit conspicuous. I'm not really too big of a fan of the face gear just lying there. But all in all, the Mercury armor is probably the second closest or the third closest to my favorite armor forms. Now, before I retire the Mercury armor for now, we obviously have to bring in the full garage to compare this thing with. So first of all, we have the Mars armor right here, then the Jupiter armor, then the Earth armor right here, and then finally the Venus armor. So all 5 armors together. So looking at this collection is a little bit dull because most of them are in cold colors, but thankfully we are going to be getting some brighter colors with the Core Gundam 2's armors, so the collection will be a little bit more interesting to see. But let's retire all of the armor sets right now and talk about what is included in the Mercuone weapon set. So, what the Mercuone weapon set is included, first of all, is this adapter, basically a double-pegged variant of the Core Gundam's backpack without the beam sabers, so you can plug on any of the Core Gundam's backpacks onto any Gunpla that you want. This thing is pretty damn neat. But the thing that is not neat, and please get this name trending, is this one-piece core spray gun right here. This thing is hollow AF, and it does have 2 pegs and a really ugly peg up here. Comparing it to the Core Gundam's spray gun, it looks nothing like it. But this peg and the 2 side pegs do have practical uses. First of all, the top peg is useful for plugging it onto the Core Gundam's backpack, like so, which is kind of a missing option. Let's see if it can plug into the back skirt. Kinda, because the Core Gundam is missing a gun storage point, so it's pretty okay that they implemented this, but it is still a hollow piece, so I will advise against it. And of course, these 2 pegs over here can be allowed for you to plug on whatever the hell you want. So if you want to dismantle the Venus backpack right here and put the weapons onto these pegs, or in the instruction manual it shows the Gunpla Battle Armed Arms from Build Fighters, you can plug the crap of that kit onto the pegs right here, basically enhancing customizability with this simple hideous piece. So that's basically all the points of interest in the Mercuone weapon set. So I'm going to post a break for you guys to see what the Mercury armor will look on all of the other Core Gundams, and I'll get to you when there's new transformation steps. Right, now that I'm back, let me show you the new combination steps. So, first of all, the backpack, well, you have to flip the beam sabers up. This is one of the only combinations in which you have to flip the beam sabers up. And then for this backpack, you just rotate the bits down. And this is one of the only other backpacks that has color, by the way. And plug it onto the back of the Gundam. Now for this gun, of course you can use the one-piece core spray gun. But I'm going to be using the original core spray gun just because it looks nicer. So you basically slide this entire thing in. And then plug on the fishtail. Just like so. So now arm this thing up, and here you have the Merc-1 Gundam. So let's take a look at the Merc-1 Gundam in and of itself. Now, as I did say in the beginning, the blue is incorrect, so you will need to paint this thing in order to get the blue correctly. The Merc-1 Gundam does look pretty damn nice. Now, I will admit that I am kind of on the fence about the low fins right here. I think they need to be higher up, but it does look pretty good on its own. Now, the one thing that I'm not a fan of is the face mask over here. The headgear, I know it's supposed to be like the oxygen pipe kind of thing over here, but I really would want to have scratch painting skills just so I could actually fill this thing up so that the entire Gundam chin is actually covered up instead of this. So that's the one thing I'm not a fan about the Merc-1 Gundam. But anyways, other than that, it does look pretty good. Apart from the inaccurate colors, that is. So for the weapons that came in the Merc-1 weapon set, first of all, we do have the water needle gun right here. It looks like a lobster, I must admit, but yeah, it looks okay looking. It does have a removable harpoon, which is really nice, but you have to keep an eye on it because it sometimes just adjusts its position without you knowing. Next up, we do have the bits right here, the underwater bits. They look pretty okay. It's hollow on the underside, but you do have a little bit of amount of detail in there, so you can go ahead and do up this detail however you want. You also do have a gray needle right here, which you need to paint white, which is okay. And you do have a hole over here, but this hole is not your standard 3mm hole. As you can see, it's stressed. You can actually have an action base plug into it, but you will actually need some modifications to the peg on the action base. So you just sand it down, narrow it down, and then you can finally plug it onto the underwater bit to have them be displayed separately. Now, last but not least, we do have the fin zappers on the backpack, which are stored pretty damn well, I might say. I really like how they store because you do have this indent in the handle, which goes into this peg right here. So if you plug it right on, like here, it is completely inconspicuous. So I really like how they stored. It's really natural. Now basically you just pull them out and it does have a movable handle or a removable blade depending on where you move it. And you can fold it out to multiple degrees, and it's usually used with a reverse grip, so I'm gonna put it on like so. But if you want to use it with a forward grip, it's up to you, which is pretty nice. So that's gonna be all the weapons that came in the Merc-1 weapon set. So for comparisons, let's of course bring in the whole armada. First of all, we have the R3 Gundam right here. Pretty nice. Dark blue and light blue. Next up, we will have to bring in the V2 Gundam. And then the Mars 4. And finally, the Jupiter. It's a pretty nice family, but the Mars 4 is still unbeatable for me. For the first core Gundam variants, that is. So that's going to round it up for the Merc-1 unit and Merc-1 weapons review. What do I think of these kits? Well, there are two things I want to criticize both of them for, one for each. First of all, it's going to be the Merc-1 unit. The blue is completely color inaccurate. So I will have to advise you guys to paint this thing up in order for it to look completely anime accurate. I am not really too big of a fan of the flipper feet, but it's not the fault of the kit, it's just not my type of thing. Same thing goes for the face mask with the completely uncovered up chin, being a reference to how divers use their oxygen tanks. I really do like the fin aesthetic of the forearms and the shoulders, especially the forearms where these fins are actually arm thrusters, similar to the H1 Spalo. Now moving on to the weapon set, the gun is the one thing I will have to criticize it for. Not for it including the one-piece core spray gun, but for its weight. Yes, this thing is way too freaking heavy for the core Gundam to hold. Now, as you can see, if I release it, this thing cannot hold itself up. It will split the hand eventually. So what I usually do is have the fins stuck under the arms or just stuck onto the upper arms, like so. That way, it can hold it up securely. So you will have to reinforce the core Gundam's hands just so to get it to hold up the water needle gun. I'm not really criticizing it for the missing color wraps because that's to be expected. Really minute needles over here, you really cannot implement plastic pieces into it. For the Merc 1 unit, it's going to be a 4 out of 10, unfortunately, because of the color inaccuracy. Although I really do like the fins out there, it is just a 4 out of 10. It's just a bare under average. But for the weapons, with the weight issues, it's not really too big of a problem, but I really do like the aesthetic of them and also the functions, so I will give a 6 out of 10. So on average, the Mercury armor does come in at a 5 out of 10. So that is a pretty good result. If you're a completionist or if you like the Mercury armor in general, definitely go ahead and pick these two kits up. By the way, no core Gundam included, as stated in the intro. So that's it for me. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please be sure to drop a like, comments, and also subscribe for more Gunpla reviews, Gunpla news, and all that kind of stuff. Subscribe to the featured channels on my channel page if you haven't, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out, guys. Bye bye.